Isn't that the most grounding and beautiful sound? I know that Zach Field does a gong ceremony, or a service, but I had this image of us just staying with that for a long time. Good morning, and welcome to the First Religious Society Unitarian Universalist here in Massachusetts, Newburyport, Massachusetts. Welcome to the second of our Welcoming Committee services this year. As I look out at all of you in person, and I know there are many online, I believe we have indeed entered the summer season. I also know it's Father's Day, and happy Father's Day to any and all who are fathers, grandfathers, uncles, neighbors, friends, and serve in that role here at our congregation as those around you watch and learn and receive your care, your encouragement, your mentoring, your beautiful selves. If you are joining us for the first time this morning, welcome. We are glad that you are here. This morning, we are delighted to welcome the Reverend Laura Randall as our guest preacher. You'll hear and remember, some of you, that she was here with us in February. Reverend Laura is the Director for Congregation Relations at the Unitarian Universalist Service Committee, where she facilitates partnerships to strengthen the impact of the Service Committee and the social justice reach of all Unitarian Universalist communities. As we move into this service, as we are here on this early summer day, knowing that the summer solstice is coming this week on Thursday, knowing that many of us have beautiful and maybe complicated feelings about Father's Day, may this be a place of welcome. May it be a place of healing. May it be a place of love for all who are gathered in person and online. We come together each week at FRS committed to love, peace, and justice. Our mission and our invitation to everyone is to come as you are, journey together in love, act with courage, and transform our world. We are a congregation who welcomes and honors all members of the LGBTQ+ community. These are our friends, our children, our parents, our siblings, our kin. And for all of that, we are grateful. With all the difficult news today, especially for the trans community, we want to start this service by lifting up some good news. Earlier this week, Tuesday, June 11th, federal judge Robert L. Hinkle struck down Florida's ban on gender-affirming care for trans minors and limits on access to transition care for adults, stating, quote, "The state of Florida cannot flatly deny transgender individuals safe and effective medical treatment." Also saying, quote, "Gender identity is real, and hormone treatments and puberty blockers are a widely accepted standard of care." Independent LGBTQ+ journalist Aaron Reed calls the ruling of Florida's ban as unconstitutional a truly massive victory for trans people. And I will add, thus, for all of us. If you are online this morning and you'd like to access the order of service, please click on the line just below the live stream. And please join us next Sunday in the Lower Meeting House, where we will be streaming the General Assembly worship service. And summer services will officially begin the following Sunday. They're wonderful, and they'll be held at 10 a.m., so mark your calendars. Thank you. It is good to be together.
We come from many places, along different paths, bringing different truths. We come with different histories and different realities, and yet we come together as one people with faith that we can use our differences to heal ourselves and each other, to bring wholeness to a fractured world. You are joyfully called to worship. Please rise in body or in spirit and join in singing our opening hymn, number 188 in the gray hymnal, "Come, Come, Whoever You Are."
Please be seated. And if the members who are here, the members of the Welcoming Committee, could join us up front, and I know we have at least Melissa online, if not others. Please join now in saying our chalice lighting words as members of the Welcoming Committee light the chalice. The words can be found in your order of service. We gather this hour as people of faith with joys and sorrows, gifts and needs. We light this beacon of hope, sign of our quest for truth and meaning in celebration of the life we share together. Each week, we also light 2 candles of peace, representing just 2 places on earth that need peace. As I say each Sunday, there are untold numbers of places on earth that need peace. So we will lift up this morning and through the week ahead those that are shared together. After each candle is described, we will respond in unison by saying peace in 3 languages: peace, salam, shalom.
Good morning. Our first candle is lit from Minnesota, a state that is courageously bucking the trend of anti-trans and anti-LGBTQ legislation, currently sweeping the country. Minnesota has banned conversion therapy, a harmful practice that purported to change an individual's sexual or gender identity, and they recently banned what became known as the gay panic or trans panic defense, a legal strategy that undermined the safety of LGBTQ people by excusing violence against us, them, depending on who reads this. The state's legislature also recently passed a library bill of rights to prohibit the banning of books that feature racial and LGBTQ themes in public and school libraries. Minnesota has become a trans refuge during very turbulent times. To this we respond, peace, salam, shalom.
Our second candle of peace and hope is lit for every place in the world where an LGBTQ+ or questioning child is found. While life may feel challenging or bleak or hopeless, it gets better. May you find and hold on to hope. There are many who came before you. We are shining bright, holding you in our warmth. We are working to make the world a place where you can smile, live, and play, and be celebrated. Until then, tend the flame of who you are. In your wild, creative heart, find us and those who walk beside you. Together we will overcome. The world needs your light. To this we respond, peace, shalom, shalom.
Please rise in body or in spirit as we join our voices in our affirmation of faith, followed by the doxology. The words are in your order of service. Love is the doctrine of this church. The quest of truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge in freedom, to serve humankind in fellowship, to the end that all souls shall grow into harmony with the divine. Thus do we covenant with each other and with God.
And now is the time for all ages. May any youth in the building or any young at heart come forward to hear your story. Today, we are reading a story about Red, who is a crayon. Welcome, everybody. So this book is by Michael Hall. It's called Red, a crayon's story. He was red. But he wasn't very good at it. Somehow Red drew a blue car. Oh dear. His teacher thought he needed more practice. I'll draw a red strawberry, then you draw a red strawberry. You can do this, really. But he couldn't, really. Like this? Oh my, let's try again. Somehow he drew blue strawberries. His mother thought he needed to mix with other colors. Why don't you two go out and draw a nice round orange? So Yellow said, a really big one. And Red goes, a really orange one. Do we think red and yellow in this case are gonna make orange? But they made a big greenish one. Oops. His grandparents thought he wasn't warm enough. Your class is making self-portraits for Parents' Night. Wear this warm red scarf. Nice, it's so you. The grandparents are silver and gray. But it wasn't. Here's Red's portrait, labeled red. Everyone seemed to have something to say. Amber wonders, sometimes I wonder if he's red at all. Hazelnut says, don't be silly, it says red on his label. Cocoa Bean says he came that way from the factory. Fuchsia says, frankly, I don't think he's very bright. Grape, well, I think he's lazy. Army Green, right, he's got to press harder. Steel Gray, really apply himself. Sunshine, give him time, he'll catch on. And Sea Green, of course he will. But he didn't catch on. Green frog, black sheep, brown cow, red, All the art supplies wanted to help. The masking tape thought he was broken inside. This'll help hold you together. The scissors thought his label was too tight. One snip should do it. I thought he wasn't sharp enough. Stay still now. But even with all our help and all his hard work, poor Red. He just couldn't get the hang of it. That's a confusing stoplight. One day, he met a new friend. Will you make a blue ocean for my boat? I can't. I'm red. Will you just try? So he did. Thank you, it's perfect. You're welcome. It was easy. And he didn't stop there. Bluebells, blue jeans, bluebirds, blueberries, and a blue whale. I'm blue! He was blue, and everyone was talking. My son's brilliant. Who could have known he was blue? I always said he was blue. It was obvious. His blue ocean really lifted me. All of his work makes me happy. His blue strawberries are my favorite. He's so intense. I'm gonna make a green lizard with him, a really big one. That's yellow. I hear he's working on a huge new project. He's really reaching for the sky. And he really was. The end. Sometimes the label that we hold doesn't match the inside.
The generosity of our community is an essential ministry that supports the work of the church, both in Newburyport and beyond. Each week, 50% of the Sunday offering not designated as a pledge goes to a local community partner engaged in important efforts to transform our region. The June shared collection goes to support Newbury Pride. Newburyport Pride unites, educates, and engages people to support and empower the LGBTQ plus community and our allies, with a focus on inclusion. They work to educate the wider community on diversity topics in order to build a stronger and healthier society. Newburyport Pride facilitates LGBTQ plus Pride events that inspire, commemorate, and celebrate our diverse community through unity and visibility. To give online, please use the link in your order of service or below the live stream. You can also make a contribution by text, and of course, you can always mail a check to the church as well. Thank you. The offering will be gratefully received.
This is a blessing for all of you, for solitude. May you recognize in your life the presence, power, and light of your soul. May you realize that you are never alone, that your soul in its brightness and belonging connects you intimately with the rhythm of the universe. May you have respect for your individuality and difference. May you realize that the shape of your soul is unique, that you have a special destiny here, that behind the facade of your life, there is something beautiful and eternal happening. May you learn to see yourself with the same delight, pride, and expectation with which God sees you in every moment.
This is a time in our service where we pause to lift up the joys and the sorrows of our beloved faith community. Tom Himmel, our pastoral care associate, will light candles as I read what has been shared with me in advance of today's service and also written in our journal, which everyone is welcome to write in each Sunday. It's located in the vestibule. We start by lighting a candle of sorrow and blessed memory for the death of Lynn Conway, computing pioneer credited with groundbreaking microchip technology fired by IBM in the 1960s after coming out as trans, but going on to great acclaim in microelectronics. She was 86 years old. We also light a candle this morning of blessed memory for our own Astor Shepherd, who I know many of us, including myself, are particularly missing this morning. We light a candle of joy, a woman shares with us, a candle of joy and of comfort that she is able to experience as a mother of a trans son, Elliot, who we know and love in this community. Elliot is living in Minnesota where his LGBTQ plus and trans rights are honored and respected. We also light another candle of joy as a thank you that I am lighting on behalf of the entire congregation for all of our Habitat for Humanity volunteers and other congregants who came yesterday and spent a very full day working to give a facelift, I think is what we're calling it, to the parish hall. It is quite remarkable, and I am overjoyed, and I believe they'll be doing that again at least 2 or 3 times this summer. So if you see that or are interested to help, please let Cynthia Walsh know, and she'll get you on that list. It's quite remarkable to see this place being transformed, mostly with love, but also with a lot of hard physical work. And we light one final candle, as we do each Sunday, for all of the joys and all of the sorrows that, although unspoken, are held in just as much love and care. I'm going to invite us all now into a different ritual of candle lighting. This is a candle lighting that everyone here is invited to participate in if you would like. And everyone will be invited to come forward if you can do so in body and would like to, and if you're unable to do so easily in your body, I'm sure anyone near you would be happy to do it on your behalf. And to come forward to the front and to light a candle. You can do this silently, or you may want to say a word for a person that you're remembering or honoring, or anything on your heart that can be literally shared in one word. I will begin by asking Tom to light a candle on my behalf for all of the fathers in this world, living and dead, for all of their beauty, all of their flaws, all of their imperfections. May we honor them, may we forgive them, and may we love them to the best of our abilities. With a very happy Father's Day. At this time, everyone is invited to come forward as you would like to light a candle in silence or with one word.
dad. Liz.
For Dan.
Dad.
For Bill and for Brendan.
Ancestors.
Two fathers, my own, Charles, and my brother, Kevin. For Nan.
Fanny.
For Dad and all living creatures, great and small.
For my father, William Joseph Colby, and his namesake, my brother Bill. And for Kevin and my dad.
For my dad.
For my dad, Paul.
For my dad and brother, both Jims.
My high school classmate, Ricky Gorfel.
My father, Merle. For all the fathers we need to forgive.
for family and friends that are missing today.
David Owen, a native of Wales. And then there's a step.
My father, Charles.
To my dad, Bob.
Our beloved Father David, our dearest brother Bradford, and our husband Jay.
My mom and my brother.
For William Henry, Brian, and William Wagner.
For my grandfather.
For my friend Robin and my friend Mary Helen.
And Reverend Helen. And for all those names, unspoken, but held in just as much love and care.
We Remain Incorrigible by Alok. The body is not a fleshy prison for the spirit. We transcend the arbitrary boundaries drawn around our skin. We are so much more than the physical. Our bodies are just mere suggestions, not ordained truths. Truth is polyamorous. Time is too. We are connected to the past, the future, the present. The people we are, the people we love, the world that surrounds us is us. Invisibility is not an objective state. It is a lack of ambition. Just because you don't see us as us doesn't mean we are not real. Reality surpasses vision. Our imagination is malnourished by a world that limits our potential to our ability to work and not our ability to love. One that relegates dreaming to our sleeping. What if we were to dream while awake? The hyper-individuation of the West crumbles beneath our feet and in our lungs. We desire past the confines of the now. We reject their reason, and instead we are honest, painfully so, in our feelings. That behind every fact is a carousel of feelings. Behind every law is a panic attack. Behind every judge and every doctor and every politician is a broken heart. We yearn desperately for an otherwise. We begin that otherwise by surrendering to the complexity of ourselves and everyone around us. We use science to appreciate our potential, not restrict it. Biology proliferates, not imprisons. The natural disposition of the world is infinity. We are oriented towards the multifaceted universes that exist beyond comprehension. We resist being known. We insist on being experienced, regardless of reason. There are as many ways to exist as there are existences. Everything lives. The stone beneath our feet, the clouds above us. Nothing dies. It just transforms. It goes elsewhere. We are the descendants of elsewhere. Stardust, skin cells, stray dreams. We spill outside of the containers they filter us through. We remain incorrigible, impure, and delightfully contaminated. Porous and welcoming of all the transitions, the refugees, the becomings, the future, the now.
Thank you, Holly. Good morning, First Religious Society of Newburyport. It is wonderful to be with you on this beautiful June day. I had the pleasure of meeting some of you back in February when my UUSC colleague Heather Vickery and I were here and offered a workshop after the service. And I'm so grateful for this opportunity to return today and celebrate Pride Month with you and share some more about the work we're doing with the Pink Haven Coalition. But before I get into what the Pink Haven Coalition does, I need to start with why it exists in the first place. And this will be the hard part, but I promise you that soon we will get to the hope and joy and power found in the trans community. 38 states currently have anti-transgender legislation on their books, with the number of new bills growing by the day. The ACLU is currently tracking 522 anti-LGBTQI bills that are in process in various state legislatures, most of them anti-trans laws. And this isn't just an issue in states like Florida or Texas. 2 of these anti-LGBTQ bills the ACLU is tracking related to what can be taught in schools are right here in Massachusetts. The lies and misinformation surrounding these bills are abhorrent. These bills are trying to legislate trans and queer people out of existence. Please know that this is not hyperbole. Because of these laws, trans people in the United States now meet the definition of internally displaced people, or IDPs, by the United Nations. Hundreds of thousands of trans people and their families have already fled their homes to safer states, with more than 1 million considering doing so, according to a recent Data for Progress survey. Early last year, an organization led by trans activists approached the UU Service Committee, or UUSC, and asked if we could help trans folks locate to safer states. They saw the work that UUSC was doing with congregations in supporting asylum seekers and wondered if Unitarian Universalists had the networks, the infrastructure, and the desire to support a different kind of asylum seeker, one driven from their US-based homes and communities. And of course we said yes. In this work with trans activists, we are in coalition with other progressive faith organizations, mutual aid groups, and others who are saying, no, I won't let this happen, not on my watch. We are working together to create networks of safety and direct support for trans beloveds and their families who need to relocate, access health care across state lines, or stay as safe as possible where they are. We decided to call this motley crew the Pink Haven Coalition. Because of safety concerns for these trans organizers and the people we are serving, we are prioritizing their security above all, which is allowing us to move forward together in deep trust during these crucial and frightening times. This is why we are not sharing any names of the organizers or the people we are helping, or spreading the news of this work on social media. Similar organizations and trans activists are regularly experiencing doxing and other violent threats. For those who may be unfamiliar with the term, doxing is when private personal information, such as your home address, is posted online with the intent to threaten and encourage violence. Pink Haven has already experienced several bad actors trying to infiltrate the coalition by posing as someone needing help. We hope that our security measures continue to keep our trans organizers and the people Pink Haven is helping safe for as long as possible. So what brought us to this place where trans folks are being scapegoated by the right and states are actively trying to legislate them out of existence? A myriad of factors, to be sure, but one of the most prominent is the rise of fascism and authoritarianism in the United States. The Reverend Jim Foti addressed this phenomenon in his 2023 award-winning Skinner House sermon, Resisting Tyranny. He wrote, "Under fascism, you have an autocrat who believes in the cultural superiority and political supremacy of the country he leads. And he believes in the use of his concentrated power and unlimited violence to uphold the country's supremacy and its purity against perceived internal and external threats. In 1930s Germany, the made-up threat was the Jewish community. Right now in our own country, trans folks are the made-up threat of choice. It is no accident that the percentage of Jews in Germany in 1933 and the percentage of trans-identified adults in the US today is nearly identical. The strategy of demonizing a tiny, often misunderstood minority and using religion to do so is another tactic right out of the authoritarian playbook. Tyrants always punch down for political gain. The non-binary poet and activist Alok, the author of the poem Holly just read, also writes, "The best way to eliminate a group is to demonize them, such that their disappearance is seen as an act of justice, not discrimination." Will you take a breath with me? This is heavy stuff. But trans, non-binary, and gender-expansive people have been chosen as a political scapegoat at this particular moment in time, not just because their numbers compared to the cisgender population in the United States. They've also been chosen because of the power they hold. The power to topple a patriarchal system that absolutely depends on binaries and hierarchy. From the moment we take our first breath, our lives begin to be defined by the anatomy perceived by those around us. It's a boy, or it's a girl. These three words begin a cascade of rules and perceptions and expectations. As we grow, maybe these expectations seem perfectly comfortable, or maybe they only chafe sometimes, or maybe they're utterly suffocating. And the really insidious trick of enforcing a gender binary, of believing that reality is only black or white, this or that, is that soon we learn to police ourselves. We become the wardens of our own prisons because we have been so instilled with the fear of what will happen to us if we don't. There's a multi-century PR campaign, said Alok in a recent interview, that tells us if we express ourselves and cultivate a life around authenticity, that we will suffer. So it is better to remain silent, to remain still, and to fit into other people's ideas of who we should be. My friends, to cultivate a life around authenticity is a radical act of rebellion in this world. To do the introspective work necessary to ask yourself questions to discover who you really are, not who you were told you were. This is the kind of life-affirming, soul-strengthening, community-celebrating work that everyone can do, that everyone should do. And our trans and gender-expansive beloveds are showing us the way. Trans and gender-expansive kin, you are the prophets of possibility. You are showing us that gender is not a binary or even a spectrum, but a galaxy of infinite incarnations waiting to be explored. The body is not a fleshy prison for the spirit. We transcend the arbitrary boundaries drawn around our skin. We are so much more than the physical. There are as many ways to exist as there are existences. Please know that I'm not suggesting we do away with the concepts of man and woman. If you like them, if they fit you, or what you aspire to be, wonderful. What I'm saying is that everyone should have the freedom to decide for themselves what these terms mean, and if they want to claim them for themselves or not. Please also hear that none of this is new. Trans and gender-expansive people have always existed, and they always will. The history of gender-expansive people has often been deliberately erased or distorted by colonial powers. Many cultures around the world have 3, 4, or more genders in their society. In India, Hijras are not men or women or transitioning between the two, but a third gender altogether. They often live in communities of other Hijras and train for years to perform sacred rites of dance, song, and blessing at weddings and birth celebrations. The British powers that colonized India in the 19th and 20th centuries felt that the existence of a third gender went against their Christian beliefs, and they named all Hijras, of which there were millions, criminals in 1871. Colonial authorities were instructed to arrest them on sight. This colonial period of criminalization took its toll on the Hijra community, where even after independence and the repeal of that 1871 law, they were still excluded from much of mainstream Indian society. Decades of Hijra activism is changing this, however. And in 2014, the Supreme Court of India stated, "It is the right of every human being to choose their gender," and that the recognition of the Hijra is not a social or a medical issue, but a human rights issue. Many indigenous people in the Americas have two-spirit members who are said to possess both masculine and feminine energies. Two-spirit people are considered divinely blessed and often serve their communities as healers and shamans. Even the term two-spirit is an attempt to bridge Native American understandings of gender with the Western colonial understandings of a gender binary. The term was coined in the 1990s by indigenous activists who were looking for a way to acknowledge the unique and specific ways various tribes viewed gender within the discourse of transness that was coming out in the dominant culture. These experiences are related, but they're not the same. There are as many ways to exist as there are existences. The flood of anti-trans legislation can seem both overwhelming and diffuse when, in fact, it is harming very specific, very real people. With the Pink Haven Coalition, we are seeking to protect trans, two-spirit, and gender-expansive lives. We are seeking to uplift trans joy as sacred and prophetic. And we also mean this very broadly and very specifically. I've had the immense privilege to act as the primary contact for a Pink Haven family who fled Texas earlier this spring. They fled following death threats from a neighbor after their daughter came out as trans. Putting whatever possessions fit in their car, they drove to a northern state with sanctuary protections for trans people. I and many, many other Pink Haven volunteers worked to secure them temporary housing for a week or two at a time, to get grocery cards from local congregations, to navigate a new public transportation system, and to search for a new apartment of their own. This process took months, and there were many bumps in the road, but they moved into their own place 5 days ago. They will still need a lot of support as they continue to settle in and make new connections in this community. But as the mom, I'll call her Stacy, gave me a video tour of their tiny new apartment on FaceTime this Friday, she proudly showed off the very first piece of art they put on their living room wall, a large rainbow flag. I told Stacy that I was preaching here today about Pink Haven and asked if there was anything she would like me to share with you. She said, "Pink Haven has helped in so many ways, but most importantly, Pink Haven saved my daughter's life, aiding us to flee a state that was no longer safe for us in any way, shape, or form. All the people who helped and continue to help really saved my little but strong family. We love y'all. And thank y'all so very much. I've been a single mom their whole life, and Pink Haven is the first group that ever helped us. It brings tears to my eyes. It truly does take a village. It just took us a while to find ours. Friends, if you would like to be part of this village that is saving trans lives and uplifting trans joy, I encourage you to visit pinkhaven.org. Your donations make it possible for families like Stacy's to get to safety and find the resources they need to survive and to thrive. The requests for relocation assistance to Pink Haven continues to grow by the day, and we can only meet this need if the generosity of others continues to grow as well. Let us proclaim to the world that our trans, two-spirit, non-binary, genderqueer, and gender-expansive kin are whole, holy, and loved. Now, beloveds, I would like to end with one of my favorite blessings written by Dory Midnight and Randy Faust Stewart. This is a blessing written especially for us, my LGBTQIA+ family, and I hope you will take it in. Allies and accomplices, you too can receive this blessing. I invite you to close your eyes or soften your gaze and move your body as the Spirit moves you. Blessed are you, awakener, life of all worlds, whom removes sleep from my eyes and slumber from my eyelids. Blessed are you, generous creatrix, who stretches forth the earth upon the waters. Blessed are you, sacred flame, who illuminates and shines upon everyone and everything. Blessed are you, holy fashion designer, who delights in the way we dress ourselves as altars. Blessed are you, liberation worker, who moves to stretch and expand towards freedom. Blessed are you, nameless and infinite, who made us in your image and reminds us that all bodies are sacred and holy. Blessed are you, wings of gold, who crowns my people, all people, with splendor. Blessed are you, holy breath, who fills me with this gift every day. Blessed are you, abundance, who helps me remember I have everything I need. Blessed are you, the way, who meets me where I am. Blessed are you, source of life, who I draw on for strength and who reminds me that rest is a sacred act. Blessed are you, fabulous one, who loves me just as I am. Blessed are you, weaver of being, who shaped the human being with wisdom, making for us the openings and vessels of the body. It is known that we are miracles, and all bodies are miracles. Blessed are you, you of many, many names, for revealing infinite paths of healing. May it be so. Amen, and blessed be. Friends, I invite you to rise once more in body or in spirit as we sing our closing hymn. It's number 205 in the gray hymnal, Amazing Grace.
Remain standing. I want to thank Reverend Laura and also honor just a few of our trans members, both Melissa Rose Williams online, who had asked this hymn as her favorite, and for Aster Shepard, who I also know it was her favorite hymn. And you might pause and look at the angels out in our vestibule that Aster has gifted us with. My friends, there is so much pain and there is so much hope and there is so much beauty. And if you are finding it hard to enter into this dialogue, perhaps like me, as you listen to Reverend Laura, you might remember the first time in your own life as a cisgender person, the expectations, the hopes, the descriptions, the demands that are put upon any of us, even those who identify and say, yes, I am woman or I am man. I remember the first time someone said, your body doesn't look the way it should as a woman. Perhaps you too remember the first time something about who you are in your body, your emotions, your beliefs didn't fit exactly the way it was supposed to. May all of us be freed from such shame. May all of us see the gifts of each and every soul. Flower, sunny day. Let's join together now in our unison benediction as Charlie extinguishes the chalice. The words are in your order of service. May the love which overcomes all differences, which heals all wounds, which puts to flight all fears, which reconciles all who are separated, be in us and among us now and always, as we go from this gathered, beautiful, sacred, safe space. May we be beacons of such safety, such gratitude, such warmth and such love. May we be opened in our minds, in our hearts, in our eyes, to see all that abounds. And may we say to each and every person, I see you. Go in peace, my friends, and return again in great joy. Amen, and blessed be.